Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Kidder-Graves, Executive Career Coach, and my niche that I focus on is working with marketing and sales executives. I love working with them because they're so great at selling and marketing another product or service. But when it comes to using that expertise in their career and in their job search, that's where I come in and that's where I help. So happy to be with you today. And today's topic is extremely important. Very excited to talk about it. And the title of the training, this short training, is to get real traction from connecting with others. And I'm not just talking about networking when I'm saying this. So I'm just going to jump right in with you. Many of you, I talk with a lot of people every day, and a lot of you are not getting the traction that you want in your job search. And then also too, if you're listening, if you're watching this and you're working right now, you're in a job that you're happy with, or maybe you're not happy, regardless of that, you need to be strategic now while you are in a role to find your next position. That is really important, but you can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone. And you need to tap into the power of others, to collaboration. And I've done trainings just on collaborating, but this is another angle to give you more help and show you what I'm talking about. So I want you to ditch the do-it-yourself approach. Often we think, okay, it's time for me to find a new job. I'm just going to do it myself and I'll find something. I'll do all these things and I'll land my new role in a month or two or whatever your timeline is. And especially now in today's market, it's not working. It's not working at all. Many of you are sending resumes, replying to job postings, and you're seeing that thousands of people are applying for those job postings and you're not hearing back. It's crickets. It's like you sent your application into a black hole. And I want you to replace the DIY approach with a DWO approach, do with others. Really, focus on that. And why? Why am I saying this? Why is this important? Well, take a step back and think about a lot of tools that executives use in being leaders. One of the main tools that executives use is coaching. Okay. And coaching hasn't been available to a lot of people until recently. All right. So if you have the opportunity to tap into coaching, and there are free coaching resources that are out in the world too. So if you don't have a lot of financial resources, it still could be possible for you to tap into low cost or free coaching. All right. So I do want to put that out there for you to consider. Okay. But you also need to have a coach, find a coach that works for you. Okay. But this isn't all just about me telling you to use coaching because I'm a coach. It's a lot more than coaching, but I use coaching as an example of an awesome tool that has been used by executives for decades. All right. This other tool is something else that has been used by executives as well. And it seems to be a secret. And it shouldn't be a secret. It shouldn't be a secret at all because it's a very valuable tool. And what it is getting support from peers. Right. There's many groups that you can be a part of to get support from peers. And for example, I belong to a peer group. I'm in an accountability group and I have gotten so much value from that. And it doesn't matter peer groups can be helpful to college students. They can be helpful to executives, of course, as I was saying. But really, if you're not tapping into peer support, that's something that you should be doing. All right. And why? Why is it so helpful? Because a job search and even making other decisions in your career, if you're not in job search mode, can be really isolating, can be very isolating. And when you think about it, your job, your way of life, the way you make a living, you do that as part of a community. You don't do it as an island. And that's why it's really critical to, to tap into these other tools that are also leveraging, support from other people. So that's why I recommend coaching, of course, since I am a coach, and tapping into peer support. So maybe start with your community. I know where I live, there are career networking groups that are available through non for profits. But there's got to be something in your area that you can tap into. If it's not local to you, then there's also remote resources too, virtual resources that you can tap into. But you definitely want to tap into peer support because it's very, very helpful. What else does a getting peer support help? What else does that provide? Think of it as market research for you. Okay. When you're in job search mode, you're the product. You are marketing the product, you. And if for any product, all the good marketers out there know how valuable market research is. You don't want to create a new product in a vacuum, right? A new product should be something that addresses a need. Otherwise, nobody's going to buy it, right? So, with market research, I mean, you need to do market research in your job search and just in your career in general, especially as you evolve and change in your career, because your likes and dislikes are going to evolve and change. And how do you want to use your skills? How do you want to use your brand? That's where the market research is important. And then also too, how does the market view your value? How does the market view the contributions that you can make? Um, so, so that's another value, another benefit when you tap into peer support. So maybe ask yourself, is there, what are the resources that I can tap into to get peer support? And if you don't know of any existing resources, that's okay. Why not start your own accountability group? Why not do that? And ideally, I would encourage you, if you're a job seeker who is out of work right now, your job search is your full-time job, then I encourage you to create your own accountability group. Get it started. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Put your own accountability group together. Okay. So that's something that can help you. And that's actually something that I'm working on right now. I'm very excited to announce that in working with my current clients, I'm going to be putting together some accountability groups for them to really help facilitate their search even more and to help facilitate their careers even more. So, because I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't do that in the work that I do. So I'm working on incorporating that into the work that I do with my clients. So, and I'm very happy about that, very excited, because I think it's going to be very powerful for sure. So another point in my training here for you is what you do need to do pre-work when you are out there networking with people and you're connecting with people. Okay, so now I'm going to the next phase of when you are networking. All right, and I've said this before, but you might not be familiar with it. I like to I switch out the term networking and I call it connecting instead, because to me, that's what it really is. When I hear the word networking, I think of IT, I think of computer networks, and there's just so much more because when we take something as straightforward as finding a new job, all it takes is for you to connect with that one decision maker who's going to hire you. And often we have to connect with others in order to find our way to that decision maker who's going to hire us. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so what do I mean by pre-work though? What has to be done? You can't, and what I'm saying is when you make the decision, or maybe when you're impacted and you lose your job, you start your job search. I don't recommend jumping right into interviews and jumping right into networking because you need to lay a foundation. And the first step in my program that I work on with my clients is reflection. Why? Why is reflection important? Because you need to tap back into your brand. You may not be very clear on your brand. And if you're not clear on your brand, and also too, if you're not clear on how you want to use your brand, and lastly, this is very important as well, how the existing market views your brand, then you're going to have a really difficult time in your search. So you don't want to jump right into interviewing and networking without laying that proper foundation. It's like you're building a house. You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, and you have to have that. And yeah, and when when I make new connections, I make new connections every day. And as part of making a new connection, I do my career clarity call, which is free for new connections. And in the process of doing that, I give people my candid assessment of their LinkedIn profile. And I also ask you to rate your clarity in your brand and also that next role that you're looking for. So, and that will tell me right away how your search is going. So, and it's uncanny how it tells me so much about that. So you need to pay attention to that. You need to do that pre-work in order to make the other work that you do in your job search so it works, so it gets you the result that you want. But the newer piece that I'm adding is how the market views you, how the market views your brand, and how you want to use it. And it's important to get feedback on that so you can make the adjustments that you need to. And this is where being in a peer group can be very helpful as well. It can be extremely helpful. So you want to set yourself up for success. Nothing is worse than a job search that isn't working, that's not getting you to where you want to go. It can be very demoralizing. You can just feel terrible, feel awful. You have these time constraints. You really want to find a good position that fits you well in a timely manner. But if you don't do that pre-work, again, you're not laying the foundation. So you need to lay that foundation. You need to set yourself up for success. And another way to picture it is, it's very difficult for you to get hired in your next role if you aren't clear on your brand and how your brand is the solution to that problem. Okay. If you're not clear on what that next role is, you're just going to be taking a lot of actions that aren't going to lead you to where you want to go. So that's why laying that foundation is very important. Another one of my points here, that like the third point that I want to cover with you is, okay, so how can you easily kickstart your job search or your connection activity if it's not really getting you the results that you want? So what can you do? Because I know a lot of you, again, your job search it's not getting you the traction that you want. And I said that career clarity call is certainly an option. If we haven't done one, then I encourage you to schedule one with me, and we can put my calendar link in the comments for you so you can schedule that time. My calendar is filling up very quickly, as you can imagine, because I think with it being November 2nd already, many people are wanting to talk with me because many people want to have a new position by early next year. And these next 2 months are going to go very quickly indeed. And since I'm talking about the end of the year right now, I am going to touch upon this because I am getting this question. I started getting this question last month, and it is basically, are the holidays a good time to find a new job? Because we are going into Thanksgiving time in the United States here, as well as the Christmas and New Year holiday at the end of the month. And yes, the answer is yes. It is a good time to find a new role. Yes, you have the challenges of people being out of the office more, and there's more distraction with the holidays. And companies still have budgets that they need to use by the end of the year. You want to take advantage of that. And it could help you too to really stand out because other people may not be available at the time. But use this time. Don't fall for that excuse that, oh, nobody does hiring in the holidays. That's wrong. There are people that are getting hired during this holiday time that we're entering. You want to take advantage of that. So, and I'm happy to help you when we do a complimentary career clarity call. So, as again, it is complimentary, it's free, and you would get candid feedback from me on your LinkedIn profile. And also, too, if you want, I can give you a high level step strategy of what you need to do. Like if you haven't been getting the traction that you want, you get my one on one attention, and I can tell you what you need to do in order to get that next role that you're trying to find. I also encourage you, I said it earlier and I'm going to say it again. And it's not just because I'm a coach, but because I've used coaching myself and I continue to use coaching. And I'm going to continue with that as well for as long as I possibly can, as long as I have a need for coaching. And I want to encourage you to get coaching. Coaching is a great way to shine a really bright light on your blind spots. We all have blind spots. You wouldn't be a human being unless you had blind spots. You want to shine a light on those so you can see them clearly and address them. And it's really hard to do that on your own. The DIY approach doesn't work too well with addressing your blind spots. I had a call with a new connection the other day, and she was saying, I'm a big believer in coaching because I know there's a lot of areas that I'm not an expert in. And I know that I get a great return on my investment when I bring in an expert to help me and to work with me, to collaborate with. And that's the power of coaching. And the last thing, again, as I had said earlier, to help you to get traction in your job search and in your career, tap into peer group support. So maybe that looks like you starting your own accountability group. Maybe you find out what networking groups are in your area. There are specific groups that help those in transition. I belong to an excellent group here in the Chicago area. It's called the Elite Group, and it's for HR, accounting, and finance leaders who are at the director level or higher. And this group has, I think it's about 15 years old, and they have monthly meetings. They always have great speakers. And so if you're in HR or accounting and finance, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm happy if you're in the Chicago area, if you're interested in finding out more about this networking group that I belong to, I'm happy to help you and like connect you, have you, invite you to a meeting. For sales and marketing executives, there's so many resources for you too. There's a lot. And, there's just, you want to tap into that because again, it can help you so much as you evolve and change in your career and certainly with doing a job search because again, it's just so isolating and you don't know what you don't know. And going through it with others, I recommend if you are going to form an accountability group, that it should be at least 4 members, because if it's too small, it may not be as impactful for you. A really good book that I want to recommend to you. So this was new on my radar, and I highly recommend it. It's Never Search Alone, and the author is Phil Terry. And one of my clients shared this with me, and I really appreciate her sharing it with me. So we've been working together, and she's also been following this book, and I think it's a great resource for many of you. So yeah, so if you have been searching and you haven't made the progress, check out this book and see how you can tap into coaching, and see also too how you can tap into a peer group, and then reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. Just drop them in the comment section. You can also message me directly. That's not a problem at all. I check my messages regularly. But yeah, we're here to help you. We want you to land that next role. If you are in transition right now, we want you to be able to land that role as soon as possible. But it also needs to be a position that fits you well, something that you're excited about. So yeah, so that's it for my training today. And then again, put your questions in the comments, and I hope you have a great day. And we will be back here next week for more training, more short training bites. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.